Orbit Culture is a very familiar name here on Wanna Hear a Great Song Today. The band was formed in 2013 by vocalist-guitarist Niklas Karlsson. The Swedes recently made their first stop in Vancouver, Canada, and I had a chance to sit down with Niklas, Richard, Fredrik, and Christopher to discuss their new album Descent, the past festival season, and Richard's recruiting skills.
I'm here with my blog, Want to Hear a Great Song Today, but I'm here with Orbit Culture, hailing from Sweden, and they just rolled into Vancouver for their first time earlier today. Right, so I know you haven't been around much, but first thoughts of Vancouver, anything?
Really good.
Yeah.
Weather for me is perfect here. A bit more chill. That's like back home in Sweden, so I'm glad. And we just went to some music stores and saw a bit of the city, and it's beautiful. Yeah. It truly is.
Right on. So one of the first questions I wanted to ask you was, following the success of Nija, which obviously came as a pretty big surprise to you, I would assume, did you feel any sort of different pressure heading into the recording of Descent and the release, leading up to the release?
I mean, was it Nija?
What?
Was it Nija?
Nija?
I mean, Nija came out during the pandemic. And I guess when that came out, obviously we were very happy about the response and everything, and how we saw how the online audience grew. At least it became like a thing. But then I guess you just started right on Shaman pretty much straight after that, and that's when touring and shows started happening. So yeah, I mean, so there's a record in between there. I mean, you know. Yeah, I guess that also made a big impact on.
Of course, there was pressure, like following up, but it's all, you know.
It is that from every record,
yeah,
so it doesn't matter really.
I think the pressure comes from when you start to listening to what other people say, and but once you write more and more, you kind of forget that, and you start to write for yourself again.
Yeah.
So that's when the pressure just fades away. So yeah, we're super proud of Descent.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, the feedback so far has been very positive from everything I've seen. So yeah, my next question is for Niklas specifically. So you've obviously had a completely stable band now since 2019 and even a bit longer. Has that changed your songwriting approach in any way because you have more confidence in the band and you know them as musicians so well, whereas before you had more of a shuffle?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of factors, but you're right about that. I'm much more confident in handing in drums or solos or whatever to Richard and Christopher in bass lines and shit like that. But I think it's the other factor is we also, just basically got a bit older, communicated more, like small things like that, even though I sit at home and write a lot of the stuff, we will listen to it like as a 4-piece unit and go from there every time.
And you kind of know when the other guys are not feeling it.
Yeah, I'm starting to learn their behavior for good and bad.
Yeah, eye roll is generally bad.
Yeah.
Cut that part out. So one thing I wanted to talk about was your grass pop metal performance in Belgium.
Shit.
And that was, obviously you have no way of knowing, but there had to be at least 5,000. I only saw the pictures online, but
I think that tent had the room for 14,000.
Yeah.
That was fucking filled to the max.
Pretty full.
Yeah, so I think it was around 14,000 people.
At least that's what we saw on the sheet.
Yeah.
We got.
Yeah. For a band at your level, just how did that feel? How did that motivate you? And
I remember that show specifically because our friend and he's helping us with assistant stuff and backlining and stuff. I remember we were backstage, just behind the curtains, and we were one of the openers that day, right?
Yeah, we were the first band.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, and our friend was it's starting to fill up. Then we started talking 5 minutes. Then we were go out and check again, and he came back with these eyes, fuck, guys, this is probably the biggest shit
I
ever.
remember too.
And I was like, for real? And he was like, yeah, okay, take my phone, go out and videotape it. And he was like, yeah, okay. So I went out, videotaped the crowd and came back and we were like, damn, there's a lot of people.
It went so quick.
Yeah, it was
That's
insane.
when the pulse.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, you
then
were
everybody
definitely-
got pumped and like
Yeah.
started like, fuck yeah, we need to do this so good. So,
I mean, you were definitely more nervous
yeah,
than usual.
yeah.
But yeah, that was a show to remember.
Yeah.
For sure.
I just wish the YouTube clip of it had a better mix.
Yeah, that's-
It sounds fucking horrible.
Yeah. It sounds really bad.
I just wish we could control that.
Yeah.
And make it.
Yeah, I mean-
orbity.
I mean, it could be cool if you heard the guitars
Yeah.
for a starter.
But for the people there, I think they were satisfied.
Yeah.
And also overall, this like the festival summer for us this year has been amazing. Like every one of those shows has been really good, crowd-wise and everything.
Sea of people.
Yeah.
Played some big crowds, but obviously it's the moments you've been working towards.
Yeah.
And like, let's be honest, you guys have been ready for it. The pulse may be going quick, but you guys came out and killed it, obviously.
I think once we got on stage and like after that shock,
Yeah.
I think it all felt very natural.
Yeah.
Like, because we love big stages.
Yeah.
Not that but we love to move around and switch sides and do things.
I mean, often like a half or one whole song into a set, then you're ready to go. Like then you're more chilled.
Right.
And really can handle it.
But the size of the crowd doesn't matter.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Right on. Just a couple more questions. One I had was one I've never really seen online too much is so obviously Niklas started the band, but so this question is more for the other three. I don't know much about like how, like so I know you two joined first and then Christopher just later. But how did you guys how did you get the gig with Orbit Culture basically? Like where did you come from in order to get that?
This guy is responsible for much of that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a fun story how you came along.
I'm I'm
You have to
okay. From the beginning, I'm a drummer from the beginning, and I remember this because I only played like in a hardcore band, like hardcore punk genre kind of band, and that's not pretty hard. And I remember we were start recording with my like way old band, just to a fun project with you guys. That's how me and Nick started to learn each other, start to learn, hang and stuff. And you were on to me once like, try out for Orbit Culture, and I was like, hell no, that's too hard for me because I can only play like hardcore. Then I can't remember the exact. You were like, there was one more time you were like, you really need to try, and I was like, okay. So I went home, practiced guitar for a month, borrowed a guitar from a friend that had a 7-string, so I could play drop A because I didn't own such guitar. So I was sitting there in my apartment. My girlfriend was like, "Are you going to bed?" "No, I have to practice." So I did that for a month. Then he told me like, "Well, we have another guy who's gonna do a tryout." And I was like, "Hell no! I ain't been practicing for a whole month for have another guy taking my job,
And me and our old drummer Marcus, we're like, okay, let him join then.
But I did a tryout. I hope it sounded okay. But,
You got the gig. So.
Yeah, I got the gig, and Fredrik. Yeah, we can't go on in too much detail what happened, but the old bass player, he ended up quitting, and Fredrik here, Niklas asked me, "Do you know any bass players?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know this one guy from we went into called gymnasium, high school or whatever." And it was Fredrik, and I called him like, "Hey man, do you play in a band now?" And he was like, "Yeah, I have this project."
And he was like 4 projects going on.
Yeah.
You were like, "You want to play Orbit Culture?"
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, let's quit my other bands and join.
So I like successfully quit the other ones because Orbit took up more time.
Well, you're here in Canada now, so I think you made the.
I think so, right? Yeah.
And then it went for a while with that lineup, and then Marcus, our old drummer, he quit. And this was the same thing. "Richard, you know a drummer?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know one guy. I know one guy." And
Sing a theme.
yeah, and I talked with him for like 10 years, but
It was a long time since we talked.
Yeah.
When you called me.
And yeah, I just asked his guitar player for the time, like, hey, do you have Chris' number? And he was like, yeah, here you go. Are you gonna try to steal my drummer? And I was like, yeah. And that happened.
I played indie rock at that moment when he called.
Okay, wow.
I hadn't played like double bass and blast beats and that stuff for a long time when he called.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can give it a shot, but I can't promise anything.
Yeah.
Well, you were the right guy for the job.
Yeah.
Yeah, hope so.
When he did his first tryout, it was with Red Fog.
Yeah.
And all of us three were like, fuck yeah, this sounds so good. So
When Marcus left, was you returning to drums ever a possibility?
no. I got
You didn't do that month for nothing.
No, I got quite bored of drums. So that's probably why I started playing guitar. It's so much more simple to just pick up the guitar and play. And yeah, I feel bad sometimes when he's rigging his drum kit every day. I'm like, fuck, how do you manage to keep yourself like sane?
That's
you know?
something you have to take. I love playing drums, and I would never. I have guitars back home, but I can play like for 3 minutes, and then I'm like, oh, it's so boring. But I want to play. I want to learn to play guitar.
You were born to be a drummer.
I think so.
Yes, your YouTube playthroughs are just mesmerizing. Yeah, I mean, incredible. But I had 2 more questions. This one's purposely vague. Anybody who wants to answer it, just from a fan's perspective, what does orbit culture mean to you?
Life.
Yeah, everything.
It kind of became life since we've given up on everything else. No, it's true.
Yeah.
It is true.
We're driving around this fucking boring ass RV and doing this because we want to play live. So it's life. Yeah.
Excellent. And my very last question, of course, the very cliched question is, what from here? Where's orbit culture in 1 and 5 years? What's next?
I mean, we're chasing that headline spot.
Yeah.
In these big festivals. So
Yeah.
no, but we continue to create music and play as much as we can.
Yeah. We've been lucky so far with joining really good tours, but of course, like headline shows is like our main. I mean, I think that every band's what they want to do, but
We've started to build a very good team.
Yeah.
You know, behind the scenes and all that, like good management and great booking agency, stuff like that. Is like.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention your great fans, including the Facebook.
Exactly.
no, of course.
I mean, we wouldn't be sitting here without them.
No, it's kind of insane how diehard fans they become.
Like the other bands in this bill, they're like, so the Orbit Culture fans, they're fucking hardcore, right? And we're like,
Also,
yep,
like
we know. They're awesome, you know?
Kind of a fun fact is that David, our merch guy, who does all the online orders, he said like in his 20-25 years in the business, he's never had such a like passionate group of fans.
That's really cool to hear.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Thank you.
The way that you guys are with the fans is like a band I've never seen before. And from all the fans, I can truly say just thank you guys for everything you do.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. For real.
All right, so thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fuck yeah.